have a presentation from K5600, my friend Ryan Smith, and I'm really pleased that somebody, at least one company, is showing HMIs, because I love HMIs. They still have a place. There's no place yet. No other kind of source can be that hard and that economical and that easy to transport, and there is still a place for HMIs. So thank you for bringing those.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. He stole my thunder. That was going to be my joke. I'm going to mix things up today and not talk about LEDs. We're going to talk about good old standard discharge lamps that have been around since the 60s. For those of you who don't know, K5600 has been around since the early 90s, and we predominantly focus on HMI technology, commonly known as, or also known as MSRs and CSRs. If you ever heard of a Joker or an Alpha, those are our two core lines in which we make several wattages from 200 watts all the way up to 18,000 watts. What I brought today was a couple new toys. One, I have with me an 800 watt Joker, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. But there's been a request lately for people who are not necessarily wanting to replace lenses, even though that is the most efficient and punchy way to use the unit. So we made a focusable reflector accessory. If you look at the inside, it's faceted, common to old open face type systems, but the reflector slides back and forth. And what that does is it enables you to add one more accessory to your Joker 800, in addition to the other arsenal that you may already have, and eliminate the use of the lenses and still get a nice punchy source, like I said, that's more similar to an open face than a par. One of the other new unique things that's come out in the recent 12 months is this 800 watt lamp is actually 3200 degrees Kelvin. I've been working with Sylvania in Belgium, and they've started to release an entire line of discharge lamps that actually do 3200 Kelvin. So if you're familiar with your fluorescent technology, as in your KinoFlow, you've always been able to do a 29, a 32, a 56. We finally now have that for HMI. The interesting thing as well is that Osram's working on an entirely different model to where they don't redope the internal mixture, but they're actually going to do the secondary glass tube that goes over the top that gets you to that 3200 Kelvin as well. So it won't be as efficient, but it might be a little bit higher of a CRI level. So look for those to be coming. The real advantage of that is I don't think anybody's going to take their Jokers and start shooting everything at 3200 Kelvin. But if you happen to have two lights in the car, you walk into a situation to where it would be nice to switch, or you don't want to change all of your practicals, it's just one more tool in your kit that enables you to get the job done, which is pretty much the mantra and the business model that we have followed over the past 20 years. So I'm going to fire this up just so you guys can see the 3200 Kelvin lamp itself. CRIs ranging anywhere from about 92 to 90. So hopefully, as they continue to experiment with the doping of the mixture and the internal arc tube, they'll figure it out and get it a little bit better. So we'll fire that up. And while that is warming, we have another little tool that I brought today, which is straight off the slide over here, straight off the cutting room floor. This is the Alpha 800. So it actually is an 800 watt unit, just like our 800 watt Joker, except as a traditional Fresnel instrument, where we've made a couple of new modifications that may or may not be interesting. I guess you guys will tell us. But first and foremost, the front is easily removable, spring-loaded, and the reason that we're doing that is because instead of it being like all of our other Alphas to where it is a Fresnel, which is similar to your 2Ks that you guys have probably all grown up using, goes 5 to 60 degrees with a Fresnel lens. You can use it wide open, you can burn it straight down. But we made a 90-degree socket adapter. So once you have the 90-degree socket adapter, what we've basically done is taken a unit and made it a Fresnel and a par. So now you can reorientate your lamp, and now you can put a whether it's our zoom optics or whether it's a standard parabolic optic, I can now simply install that on the front of the fixture and then use it lensed. Because of the additional speed ring hole mounts that are already based on the unit itself, I can now use it as a top light, soft light, par light, open face. You can pretty much use it to do anything that you want, which once again is something that we're very big on, is having one tool that can produce many different lighting looks and control light in many different ways. One of the biggest advantages of discharge and point light sources is that you can control them and create different looks. And I still think that's why, as you mentioned earlier, why the HMI technology and even incandescent still has a place. And it's because of that light control. I mean, if you're going to be doing interviews all day long, every day for your entire life, and all you need is a soft light, go get a 1x2 and call it a day. But if you find yourself in a variety of different situations to where you want to control the light, hard light, soft light, different looks, comedy, drama, this is where I think our products really excel. So that's it. When it comes to NAB, Jim keeps moving this earlier and earlier, which means I don't get to finish everything by this date and time, because we barely finish everything before we actually go to Las Vegas. But we've got a line of Parabolics coming out, large focusable Parabolics compatible with our 800 and 1600 watt units, 3 foot, 4.5 foot, 6 foot models. Those of you familiar with the Jolico, we should also have a Jolico for our 1600. Which is going to be using the traditional IATSE lens system. We're just creating a back end with new optics, a new optical reflective system that maximizes the efficiency and gives you another stop above the 800. So those will be a couple things that are there. In terms of the LED stuff, still putting money into it, and as soon as I can get the output and the controllability that I can get from this stuff, we'll be there.
And you also have tungsten bulbs that you can put in some of your units, right?
Yeah. So as you can see, as we go back to the first unit, so this is our 3200 Kelvin discharge lamp lighting up the sky. It's 800 watts. We have it for 200 and 400. 1600 will be available probably in the next 6 months. When it comes to standard incandescent, no. The answer is no. Now I do have, because of the Parabolics that we're coming out with, we are going to have a 2K bug head. And that's going to be predominantly because you get a lot of requests for 2Ks in the large parabolic focusable umbrella systems. So we are going to start selling that as well, specifically for that purpose.
Let's take some questions for Ryan. Can it travel safely with the 90-degree offset?
I wouldn't set it up like this, per se. But once you install the, and then install the par.
That's going to lock the
so that's
porcelain in socket.
So that locks everything into place. And then you would install, I think you grabbed it, yeah. No. So now if you wanted to travel with it this way, the thing is knowing us, by the time we're done, the case is going to be so tight and everything's going to fit in it that you may not want to travel with it this way because it might not fit in the case, so you would reinstall, but might be an option. The ceramic base that's used for that 90-degree is pretty solid. I mean, we ship all of our Jokers face down in the cases with the bulb in that orientation, and we don't have any issues. So I would anticipate this would be the same.
Your units have always been known for being able to shoot straight down. A lot of units you can't do that.
Absolutely. So that's a big thing. Whether it's a Joker or whether it's an Alpha, whether it's our 18K or our 200 watt, everything burns straight down. A lot of fixtures, because the reflectors are so large, they trap a lot of the heat internally, which then melts the reflector. It melts all of the ignition circuit, wiring, etc. Because we're using a composite quartz material for our reflector, we can get right next to lamp. We can make it very small. It does not melt because it's quartz, so it's the same thing that lamp envelopes are actually manufactured from, and that gives us the ability to burn all of our units 90 degrees straight down top light.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Excellent.
Another great presentation.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
See you at NAB.